William Doyle, otherwise known as East India Youth. Congratulations on your set.
Thank you very much.
Now you did this in Singapore just recently as well. I'm kind of curious as how these Laneway things, do they change from one city to the next, or is it kind of the same vibe?
Well, this is only the second one, so I can only compare between two at the moment. My understanding is that, yeah, the kind of vibe changes wherever you go. And yeah, very different here than it was in Singapore. Singapore was just a lot more humid, and but the crowd were kind of similar. Like they responded in a kind of a similar way. And what I noticed between both audiences was that they really paid attention to what was going on. And you know, like it wasn't just for the people talking. Like there might be at other festivals they were really like engaged with it. And that's cool. It's kind of a bit, makes you feel a bit scared, but it's good because they know like when they enjoy it, they show their appreciation. So I guess I hope that'll be the same over the entire tour.
Yeah. And you're looking very dapper now. So you donned the suit post the set. Is that because of the weather?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, I was yeah, it's too hot to really get out there. Like, I mean, I do it in venues like everywhere in the world, usually wearing a whole suit, but I just knew this one was going to be intense. Like, I haven't played in the middle of the day at a festival for a while now. You kind of forget what it's like to really be in the heat of it, like in the heat of the moment, quite literally. And it just goes, you know, sweat just starts to go. Singapore was worse. Here was right. I think there's a breeze came along at some point, and I remember being quite pleased with that.
I'll bet. And speaking of the heat of the moment, I mean, watching you on stage doing your thing, you've got all sorts of technology in front of you. You've got your guitar strapped on. You're doing everything yourself. What's going through your mind when are you having to concentrate on where your hands are going, but you're still singing? And I mean, how do you do it?
Well, you get used to it, I guess. There's an element of you know, like I've been doing with this gear that I've got on stage at the moment. I've been just over a year doing that, and so it kind of becomes second nature to you. However, the gear that some people make, that I've got some things that are like sort of like color coded LEDs, and you kind of like trigger off certain sections or instruments, or you know, I have to read a lot when I'm playing, you know, different numbers and stuff like that, make sure the filter's at a certain frequency, or you know, like you're reading a lot of things, and they just you can't see them in the daylight. I guess they're made for playing in clubs or at night or something like that, and you can't see them. So these shows are going to be like, not only have I usually got to do that, but now I have to like really concentrate hard on what is going on there.
It's almost like playing blind, I guess.
It is, yeah. And I got my shades on as well, so I'm quite light sensitive, and I'm just squinting the whole time anyway. So I had my shades on. Today I was sort of like putting them up and down, because sometimes you can see things better when they're not on, but then when you look up, it's like the sun's right in your face. So there's that kind of environmental thing to juggle this time that you don't usually have. But I was a bit afraid that all the shows weren't going to go very well because of that. And I know this is only the second one, but this one felt to me a lot better. I think I've sort of accepted that's the way it's going to be, and I'm sort of like preparing it in my mind.
Because I would think that it would be difficult to concentrate on all the stuff you're doing, and then also find some connection with the audience. But you seem to have managed to pull that off.
Oh, I just ignore them, those. It's this, you know, like when you're at a festival, and especially at this time of the day, people are just getting there, and I don't really know, I haven't talked to a lot of the audience here, but I imagine what they want is they kind of want to be, you know, they want to find their way into the festival and get into the vibe of it, and you know, so that later on when they're watching Grimes or Church or something like that, they feel like they've had like a total experience. And you know, I'm definitely not as familiar to them otherwise, so you have to, I do give off a bit more at these things. I say a few more words than I usually would do at one of my own shows. I do like to come up, start playing the set, and just don't say anything pretty much until the very end. I might, acknowledge or say cheers maybe. But these shows, you kind of have to get people on your side a bit more, and I think they respond to that. And I think that's cool. Just knowing how to change your performance for every context. You know, it's never the same. That's sort of the beauty of doing it, I suppose, and doing it so often over years. You know,
right.
Every show is kind of different than the last one.
Now, you mentioned Grimes. From what I understand, I've read that you're a fan. Have you managed to express your admiration to her at this point?
I won't be doing that, I don't think. Like, it's just like, I hope to say hello. And I always find it strange with those things when you really like someone's work and like what do you talk about? I would rather kind of like have a conversation and then like later on kind of like allude to it maybe, rather than sort of make that the focus. Go straight in there with and with that. I watched her set in Singapore and it was really great, and I haven't seen her play before, and I'm looking forward to watching more of it. Like that, the last album was just amazing. One of the best pop records in my lifetime, definitely. I think like just every track is just incredible. So many hooks, and it's just great. It's a great experience. I think she's like one of the best artists operating.
Cool. So your own music has kind of evolved to a more popular place, and you've got 2 albums out so far. I assume you're thinking about the 3rd one. Can you give me any kind of insight as to where you're heading?
Well, I think the pop thing has been an experiment that hasn't really worked in the way I kind of thought it would. No, I'm not a stadium filling artist yet. No, that wasn't the ambition. The ambition wasn't really to like be a pop star, but it was like I want to make pop music. I think there was sort of because I just love pop music, and making it's really difficult. I guess sometimes the perception can be or misconception, I suppose, is that it's kind of like you just like throw away kind of like. But hooks and stuff are really, really hard to write. They're really difficult, and so I wanted to do that with this album, and I kind of feel like it was successful in ways, but I'm not really sure it's something I can keep up for long. I like operating on that part of what I'm interested in, but at the same time, like the first album was a lot more instrumental. It was kind of a bit more abrasive in parts. I felt like it's a bit more emotionally raw, and maybe the next thing would be something that sort of meets in the middle a bit more than the first one did. I think melodic parts or melody is going to always be the focus of what I do, and it's always going to be there running. But I don't know. I miss the weirder parts of what I was doing. Especially touring this album as well. I kind of miss playing the instrumental stuff in the first album. I just think that I've got more to offer there. If I felt like I would be as good as Grimes, for instance, at bashing out the pop stuff and making that kind of the centre of what you do, then I would do it. But I think it's just one facet to what I'm capable of. So I think the next thing's probably going to go, be a bit more instrumental than Culture Volume, but it will. I don't know. It was hard to say. I need some time to sit down and work on it.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much for taking time to talk to me.
Not at all.
Enjoy the rest of the tour.
Thank you very much.